What is your red line? What could you,
You know, we don't have a red line.
His rhetoric and beliefs were ignorant, uneducated, and sought to disenfranchise millions of Americans.
MSNBC, to me, kind of stood apart as a news organization that really encouraged civil discourse. And I think what you said was manipulated and misinterpreted. So,
and you mentioned Jimmy Kimmel. If you watch any of their shows in the last 24 hours, all the shows are talking about how, like, this is awful for America that Jimmy Kimmel was, indefinitely suspended. And isn't this awful for America? And it's a chilling thing for the First Amendment. They're saying that on every platform. Not one person has said anything about me. Not one person on that network has said, they've all gone out of their way to say, isn't this horrible what happened to Jimmy Kimmel? Isn't it, even including Morning Joe and Mika, who went after me after the show, basically saying they were glad I was terminated. And now today they're talking about how awful it is for our country that somebody like Jimmy Kimmel can't say what he said and he is indefinitely suspended. Not an iota about what their employer just did to another employee.
I rise to pay my respects to the celebrated heroes of the Somali Youth League. On May 15th, 1943, 13 young, brave, and brightful men founded SYL to liberate Somalia from colonial control. Their mission was to see a free and united Somalia and prosperity for its
concern about teachers who are fearful of losing their teaching certificates because of this comments that they made in regard to a gentleman by the name of Charlie Kirk, who until the last week I knew nothing of. But in researching him, let me say this. So there's a letter that came from the DOE to the superintendents cautioning all superintendents to caution their staff to be careful about what they say because they could ultimately lose their teaching certificates. Because if students and parents feel that the comment of the teacher somehow makes them feel bad, then there could be some consequences and repercussions on that. And so my thought was I looked at the statutes and the administrative rules that were referenced in this September 11th letter from DOE, and I'm thinking unless a parent or you as a teacher feel bad because I as a teacher don't miss a racist bigot at that, I don't see how you're going to be at risk of losing your teaching certificate. So, when we talk about the Holocaust, I've yet to hear say that I miss Adolf Hitler. He said a lot of toxic things that were very undermining to society at large, and we want to never forget that, and we want to be better than that. The things that I've heard from this gentleman, Mr. Kirk, as it relates to the black experience here in the country are definitely things that would make me say, hey, I'm sorry that he's died, that he passed away, but he did not use his voice effectively. So that's my 2 cents on that. So teachers, say what you need to say, but just be respectful and don't say it in a discriminatory way against him or anyone else who might be offended.